Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Public Building Commission of Chicago's pre-bid and tech review meeting for the Chicago Department of Transportation Work Progress Administration Street Reconstruction Project on 112th Street and South Loomis Street, PBC contract C1617. Today, we'll begin with the introductions. We'll then move into the procurement details. We'll talk about the compliance portion of the contract, and then we'll switch into our technical review meeting. The technical review meeting will be led by Robert Ochi from the Public Building Commission, and then we'll have a Q&A session for any questions that may come up. For those of you that have questions as we're presenting, feel free to use the chat feature. We'll review those questions at the end. So let's briefly start with introductions. My name is James Borkman, Director of Procurement for the PBC. Patty?
Patricia Montenegro, Public Building Commission, Procurement.
Miguel?
Miguel Fernandez, Public Building Commission, Procurement.
Lisa?
Good morning, Lisa Gitteroff, PBC Zoom Administrative Host.
Robert?
Robert Ochi, PBC, Project Management.
Randy?
Morning, Randy Williams, PBC, Deputy Director of Construction.
Donna?
Good morning, PBC, Donna Green, Project Manager.
Dee?
Good morning, Dee Brookins Taylor, PBC.
Good morning. And then we have two possible contractors on the line. We'll start with Passion. Michael?
Morning, Mike with FH Passion.
Good morning. Patty?
Patty with CPMH Construction.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
We also traditionally would have CDOT and our partners on. They're unfortunately unavailable today. This project is being handled by Peralta Clark. And we'd also like to give a big shout out to our partners at CDOT, Jacqueline Samuel, Dan Burke, and the team for this opportunity. So thanks everyone for joining. The procurement details surrounding the project. This project has two separate locations. The first is West 112th Street, and that's from South Fairfield Avenue to South Rockwell. And then the second project on Loomis runs from West 121st Street to West 120th Street. Similar to our other WPA projects, the general scope of work for this involves traditional earth excavation, Portland cement concrete base course, a hot mix asphalt surface course. There's sewer and water main, as well as drainage structures that are involved here. We also have concrete curb and gutter work. There's concrete sidewalks that are going to require the tactile and detectable warning surface system, as well as curb ramps. There are a number of driveways on both of these projects, as well as alley aprons. We also have the roadway lighting, the thermoplastic pavement marking, and then the traditional signs, topsoil sodding, tree removal, and tree planting. We'll briefly just discuss this now, but in Robert Ochi's presentation in the tech review, we'll go into detail about the specific portions of the scope of work we want to highlight for each of these projects. As you know, both of you have worked with, and all of those watching this recording have worked with the PBC, I'm sure. The contractor is required to prepare a phasing and logistics plan for review by the PBC and CDOT prior to any mobilization or commencement of the work on these projects. The time of completion is as follows. We have substantial completion no later than October 31st, 2025. There's two scheduled milestones. The first is the permitting of mobilization and site control. We also, which work may not commence sooner than February 11th of 2025. And then the scheduled milestone number 2 involves the landscaping, and that's the fall planting season. So work cannot commence any sooner than October 1st, 2025. Your failure to achieve these scheduled milestone dates result in the following liquidated damages. It's $1,000 per day for failure to achieve SC, and then $500 per day for failure to achieve each of the milestone dates. All the documents are available. Is someone off mute? Have a question? All of the documents are available on the PBC's current opportunities page. That's located right on the PBC's website. You simply go to current opportunities and then you'll find contract C1617, which is the WPA Street 112th and Loomis page. All of the plans, the tech specs, what we call book 3, are available from Aloha Print Group. Simply click on alohaprintgroup.com/planroom C1617. Any questions regarding the download of those plans or any of that information is available through Aloha. You can reach out to Ginger Peak if you have any questions. Her number and email are located in this presentation, as well as on the project opportunities page. The PBC works with a number of assist agencies for outreach purposes. Each of these assist agencies has an electronic copy of the documents for this procurement. We highly encourage you to work with the assist agencies for outreach efforts. It's one of the big pride and joy of the PBC that we have so many relationships with our assist agencies and our neighborhood organizations, and we highly encourage contractors to do that. This can be found, this list and contact information can be found not just on the Book 1 documentation, but also on the PBC's website by going to our website and then looking for the assist agencies page. The tech review meeting will immediately follow this meeting. No site visit is currently scheduled. However, that does not mean that bidders are not charged with familiarity with the project, and any failure to do so, for you to become familiar, for you to not inspect the site at your own leisure, does not relieve or alter your responsibility for completing the work as required by the contract documents. I'm the sole point of contact for this contract. My email is james.borkman@cityofchicago.org. Questions deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m. No addenda have been issued to date. However, it is anticipated one may be issued regarding the insurance requirements for railroad protective liability coverage, which we'll go into more detail here towards the tech review session. The current bid due date and bid due time, Thursday, January 9th at 11 a.m. That's next Thursday, January 9th at 11 a.m. The bid opening will be live streamed and recorded like all of our bid openings. If you want a real, exciting thing to do over the holiday, highly recommend you watch all of our bid openings. Patty and I really enjoy the feedback that we get. You can find the bid opening on the PBC's homepage, or you can go straight to our YouTube page and watch live. The bid submission requirements: 1 complete copy of your bid document. You need to use original signatures or a digital signature. We accept both. You must include your bid bond, and we must have the Excel and a PDF version of the Excel spreadsheet. That is the master bid tab. I'm going to go over that here momentarily. The PDF documents need to be searchable, but we know that signature and other like pages are cannot be scanned to be searchable. That's fine, but the majority of the document that you're submitting should be in a searchable format. When you submit your bid, you'll do it electronically via email to myself at james.borkman@cityofchicago.org and pbc-procurement@cityofchicago.org. If for some reason your firm is unable to submit an electronic copy, email the director of procurement, that's me, and let me know the reason why you were unable to do that, and I will review your request and either approve or deny a hard copy submission. The pre-award meeting following receipt of bids and review and identification of the apparent lowest responsible bidder will be held Monday, January 13th at 10:30 a.m. That's a virtual meeting. You'll need to have all of your proposed subcontractors as well as your MBE and WBE subcontractors available for that call. The notice of award is currently anticipated to go to our January 2025 board, and a successful contractor who moves forward would need to provide your insurance as well as your payment of performance bond within 7 days of notice of award. Some highlights from Book 1. The estimated construction budget for this project is 4 to 4.2 million. The mandatory project staffing requirements can be found on page 5 of book 1. We also have the scheduling software requirements on page 6. It's Primavera. Liquidated damages are also found on page 6, and the prevailing wage rates are on page 7, as well as a link directly to IDOL's website for Cook County prevailing wage can be found located on page 44. As all of you know, the PBC has a great track record for M&W participation. Our compliance department is excellent. And so we highly encourage you to joint venture with small minority and women-owned businesses. If you're interested in doing that, we'll need you to complete a Schedule B, which is the joint venture affidavit. It's located on page 29. We'll also need you to submit the agreement between the parties, as well as the certification letter for the M or W company. As you know, the PBC only accepts Cook County and City of Chicago certification. We'll let Patrice get into that in a little bit. We're very proud of our updated bid forms. All the math is done for you. These are schedule of price contracts. All you need to do is enter your cost for the work, and all of the fields will automatically populate for you. We need you to use the Excel sheet that is located either in the print group, Aloha Print Group's plan room, or on our website. You can download it from both, and you'll submit both the Excel sheet and a PDF copy of that Excel sheet. We want to make sure that there were no math errors, that we put any formulas in incorrectly. So there are 2 projects here. You'll see in purple, we have the 112th Street project, and in the light blue, we have the South Loomis Street project. Across the bottom of the Excel sheet, there are 2 tabs, one for 112th, one for South Loomis. You'll click on each of those tabs and enter your unit price for each of the line items that are requested for these projects. You'll see down there line 104, it will automatically total. Once that automatically totals, it'll be moved back into the total amount, line 9, grand total base bid, adding up both of those projects. Make sure whenever you submit this that you have your surety information filled out and the bidder's information. We need to know who to contact in case we have any questions. The award criteria figure is the last piece that you will fill out. This is where you identify the percent of minority journey worker, apprentice, and laborer, and female journey worker, apprentice, and laborer you're willing to commit to this project. That total award criteria figure is what we use to award the bid. So that comes in right down there. That is the line 10 grand total award criteria figure. The basis of award, as I just stated, is planned to be made to the responsible bidder who submits the lowest grand total award criteria figure, line 10 of the form, whose corresponding grand total base bid, line 9, is within the available funds for each street and is otherwise responsive to all requirements of the contract documents. If you don't fill out the entire bid form, you are non-responsive and therefore not qualified to bid. The commission reserves the right to reject any and all bids where it's in the best interest of the commission. And as a reminder, bids that are materially unbalanced will automatically be rejected. I believe Patrice Doyle is on now. I'd briefly like to have her go over some of the finer points of the compliance section. Patrice, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, James. Thank you.
Good morning.
So for this project, our MBE and WBE participation goals are 26% MBE, 6% WBE. And as James mentioned earlier, we only accept certification from the City of Chicago or Cook County, and they must be certified in the scope of work that they are performing on the project. There's additional information in Book 2, Article 23. So for the award criteria figure, the maximum that you can commit to is 70% minority journey workers, 70% minority apprentice, and 70% minority labor. The maximum is 15% female journey workers, 15% female apprentice, and 15% female laborers. And once awarded the contract, Those are no longer requirements but are commitments. The requirement for city residency is 7.5% of the total hours performed on this job must be community hiring hours. 50% of total hours of work performed on this job must be city residency. This is the community area map for this project. So that 7.5% of the total hours worked on this project must be tradespeople or clerical people from this community area that is identified on the screen. We use B2G now as our payment tracking system. Established businesses that are MBE or WBE will only receive the credit amount that appears on their certification. Manufacturers receive 100% credit, suppliers 60%, and brokers 0%. You must submit a Schedule D as well as a Schedule C. This is the Schedule D, which identifies your credit amount. It may not be the same as the contract amount, because as mentioned before, established businesses that are MBE or WBE will only receive the credit amount of their graduation phase. Suppliers will only receive 60%, and if their M or WBE is subbing out work to a non-M or WBE, they cannot receive that credit amount. So this is the credit amount for your M and WBE, and the goals are 26% MBE and 6% WBE. This is the Schedule C that should be completed by the subcontractor, and it must identify their scope of work, their contract value. On page 2, that subletting contracting levels should be completed. Again, this is not supplies. This is if work is being performed by a subcontractor. If there is a non-MBE, WBE, they will not receive credit. If you are still subcontracting to an MBE or WBE, you must identify the percentage that you're subcontracting to.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Patrice. Appreciate it. I am the sole point of contact for this contract, james.borkman@cityofchicago.org. Friendly reminder, no other communication with anyone at the PBC nor CDOT shall take place. I'd now like to turn it over to Robert Oshie to walk us through the technical review portion of this project. Robert, take it away.
Thank you, James. So as James had mentioned, there's 2 project locations. South Loomis Street is the first project, and West 112th Street is our second project. So you can see those identified in the little screenshots there. So we'll start with South Loomis Street, basically from West 121st Street to West 120th Street. Existing conditions, as you can see a couple pictures there. Existing roadway pavement and West Parkway are in poor condition. No curb or gutter leads to inadequate drainage. Inaccurate drainage. Right-of-way is only 33 feet. Existing roadway width varies between 14 and 19 feet. Primary residential Exelon generation solar field property is adjacent on the east side of our project site. There are no there is sidewalks, but they are in very poor condition on the west side of the project site. There were 4 driveways and 1 alley apron within our scope, and vehicles are currently parked in the West Parkway, as you can see there on the overhead view. If you go to the next slide, James, has to do with environmental reporting. Environmental report can be found in Book 3, Appendix C, Part 2 of our contract documents. There are 2 borings sampled, and the soil disposal classification as landfill non-special waste. We get to the proposed scope of work. This is a full depth pavement reconstruction project. Roadway to be 18 feet wide with curb and gutters. There are 2 catch basins to be installed with 6 feet total of lateral 8-inch ESVCP to connect to the existing 24-inch sewer to remain. There is 1 manhole There's 36 feet of 18-inch ductile iron pipe and 19 feet of 24-inch ductile iron pipe to be replaced at West 121st Street due to water main work. Reconstruction of 1 alley and 4 driveway aprons are part of the scope. Construct 5 parallel parking stalls as shown on the plans to allow for parking on the west side of Loomis. And we are reconstructing 2 ADA corners at 120th Street. And this portion has to do with the Department of Water and the water main. We are approximately installing 691 feet of ductile iron pipe water main to be installed throughout the length of the project limits. We are replacing 2 water valve basins, replacing 173 feet of 3/4 inch lead water service lines, and 5 service control valves, which are the B boxes. And we are replacing 2 fire hydrants. Okay. Second project location is West 112th Street from South Fairfield Avenue to South Rockwell Street. This existing conditions are basically shown on this sheet. Roadway pavement is in poor condition. There are no curb and gutter, which leads to inadequate roadway drainage. Existing roadway widths vary between 20 and 32 feet. Primary residential, self-storage business adjacent on the north side of the east project limits entrance, present on the north side of South Rockwell Street. There is a sidewalk on both sides of the street throughout the project limits, except on the north side between the alley east of South Tallman and South Rockwell Street. And there are 10 driveways and 3 alley aprons. The environmental portion of this. The environmental reports can be found in Book 3, Appendix C, Part 1. There is 1 boring sampled, and soil disposal classifications as landfill, not special waste. Proposed work. Okay. So for this one, James had mentioned this briefly. There is a railroad east of 112th Street at the Rockwell intersection. Because of this proposed work will take place within 50 feet of the railroad, the contractor would be required to have railroad liability insurance, and that'll be clarified in the addendum. The project will also have full depth pavement reconstruction. Roadway will be 30 feet wide with curb and gutters. Pavement to be resurfaced at South Fairfield Avenue. There'll be 8 catch basins to be installed with a total of 43 feet of lateral 8-inch ESV CP and 95 feet total of 8-inch ductile iron pipe to be connected to the 24-inch existing sewer main. We're going to reconstruct 3 alley and 12 driveway aprons and reconstruct 11 ADA corners. There's approximately 419 feet of ductile iron pipe water main to be installed between South Fairfield Avenue and South Washington Avenue. We were replacing 2 water valve basins. We were replacing 68 feet of 1-inch lead service line pipes and 2 service control B boxes. And we will be replacing 1 fire hydrant. For both project locations, South Loomis Street and West 112th Street, proposed landscaping. Of course, refer to the contract documents for removal and protection of existing trees and root pruning limits. There will be new trees to be planted in the parkways. Also, new grass sod to be replaced in the parkways. This project too, with the 2 project sites, there'll be proposed lighting. We will be installing new street lighting, including piggyback street lighting for a pedestrian. 1 light pole provides lighting for both the street and the sidewalk, and we will be upgrading LED lamps. So that is basically the scope of work for these projects.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Very nice. Is anyone, William Green, who are you with? Please identify yourself.
Sorry, where's my mic? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm with the Ardmore, but I'm also with CDOT on the CDOT project.
Okay.
I'm
thank
doing
you.
WPA. I'm doing a lot of these projects.
Perfect. All right. So at this time, are there any questions from anyone on the call? Okay. With that, I wish everyone a happy new year. This will conclude the pre-bid and technical review meeting for the Chicago Department of Transportation Works Progress Administration 112th Street and Loomis Street project, PVC contract number C1617. Thank you, everyone.